I had it on my screen, so it looked like we were live, but I just hadn't hit broadcast. So now the question is the sound working? And the way I'm doing it, it should be broadcasting sound for all you MFers. By the way, keep in mind that while it feels like we're private, we actually are on YouTube. So be careful what you say. Well, that's not true. Never be careful what you say. This is a demonetized channel for a reason, because we can say whatever the hell we want to say. But I'm just keep in mind, this is not necessarily a private group, and technically everything you're saying is out there for posterity because it's going to be on a video replay for people. Unless maybe I can always delete the replay and not make the replay available.
You don't do that.
You think I should?
I don't know. It's your channel. No, Lee, it's your channel, hon. I don't
know
care.
what? I think there's no reason for the After Dark party to be on replay. I really don't think that it needs to be.
Sometimes we get off subject too, and who needs to hear that?
Right?
You know, like it's kind of. Yeah, like, you know, last week when you cut the lot, well, you didn't cut the, but when you left the Discord channel, I talked to Marie for like 2 more hours on Discord after that.
I was wondering if you guys accidentally left yourself logged in or whether you guys were still chit-chatting. I saw you on.
No, we chit-chatted for a while. I finally said, girl, I got to go to the gym at 8. I've got people meeting me. I got to go. And she's like, okay, go to sleep. And I logged out. We really talked that long.
We yap so much. I feel like we always yap a lot. Kimmy is my girl. She's my Texas girl.
I gotta go find my drink. I left it somewhere. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Marie, you're not at Beyonce? Is it not tonight? Is it tomorrow?
Oh, the concert?
Yeah.
No, I'm supposed to go tomorrow, but it's tomorrow and Sunday.
Oh, okay. There's a one of the trainers at my gym. She's going too. She teaches on Sunday.
Yeah, I went to the New York show. What was it? I think it was back in May. I forgot the date. I think I was night 3 in New York. So like my friend, she has a ticket and she's like basically gonna give it to me for half price. But I'm like, darn, should I even go? I already went. But I want to go again.
Definitely go. I wouldn't. I have found this. So I'm a Taylor Swift fan, and what I have found is that the Bay fans, they're just like Taylor fans. So go again, enjoy it, go have fun. Absolutely,
it's so fun going to concerts. It's so fun.
Yeah, it's like when people are like, "Oh, I wouldn't spend that kind of money," and I'm like, "But you'd spend it on Taylor Swift, so you have to understand why somebody would." You know, even if that's the thing. But I mean, I love Destiny's Child in the 90s. So, I mean, I feel like I know her. She's one of those, I feel like I grew up with her, Beyonce.
Right.
So,
all right.
I mean, people think she's bringing out Destiny's Child because, you know, she brought out Miley Cyrus and Jay-Z for her Paris shows. So people think she's going to bring out Destiny's Child and Dolly Parton too. I would love to see Dolly Parton. Like that would be so
that would be cool. I did not know that. The Destiny's Child would surprise me because is it Michelle who's been in the news a lot from Destiny's Child? One of them has been just in the news. It feels like a lot. Like, I don't know.
Oh yeah, because I think she's on Broadway right now for
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's on Broadway for Death Becomes Her. It's supposed to be a really good Broadway show, so yeah. Sorry, we're probably boring everybody.
I know. It's the Kim and Marie show. We got you right.
Well, I already had my show, so I guess you guys can take the lead, you know.
Sorry.
How are you doing? I loved your show with Allie.
Yeah?
I had all of these friends from other Discord groups, and some of them, like I even sent it to my mom too because she's following a few trials. And she loved the death penalty show because I mean I guess most people don't know anything about the death penalty. Like I didn't.
I'm so happy to hear that, and I'm simultaneously so bummed for Allie. Like I the last 2 nights I've been able to pull like 160 to 130 people. When I go live with Allie, we're lucky if we get 50. And I'm like, more people need to see Allie Benevento. She's freaking phenomenal. And everybody who sees her, they're like, oh my gosh, it was so awesome having her. And yet I can't seem to get an audience going for her. I feel bad. I feel like you need to go to some other content creator who can get you more fans because like I'm not doing shit for her.
somebody today, Lee.
Honey.
She was on with someone today. She cheated on you, bro.
Oh, well, good for her, I
Hey.
guess.
Lee, I have a request.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lee, can you fix YouTube so that people can see the chat from Discord? So you just
Yeah.
have pictures right now.
So you'd rather have them
You
see
gotta
the chat.
click on the little in the upper right corner. You got to click on the little bubble. on
The
your
chat's
Discord.
showing now, so that chat.
No,
What
Maybe. maybe. Does it have all of our recent stuff?
Oh, there's a Brian Koberger channel. Is it in the Brian Koberger channel?
No, it's in our chat for this talking.
Yeah.
The last thing that was written was by Crime Tech Explorer.
So there's a general
Can I
text channel that nobody's writing into it, and Murder Metal Mayhem joined the party. Where is he? Is he in the room?
Right. He's in the room. Can you fix YouTube though?
It should be fixed. Which chat are you seeing? There's see all these text
Arr.
channels. There's Brian Koberger's channel. Is it Brian Koberger's channel? Because each one of these are text channels. It's not
Arr.
that channel.
Come on,
I will
Grace.
come in there.
Come on.
Pete,
Get up here.
can you join the microphone? Can you unmute yourself and say hi? Or I mean, with my super admin powers, I can unmute you, but then I don't want you to hear like, "Honey, let go of my Johnson." Not while we're on camera. What, Rhonda?
Wait. Metal Mayhem's gonna talk. I want to
Yeah.
say hi.
Yeah, he's on. He's in the room.
All right.
So,
Hey, bud. I watched the live from last night. It was so good.
yes.
Okay.
That's
The one you did with Lee.
people get
Really
Yeah.
enjoyed
That's
it.
cool.
I mean, now
Yeah,
Hey,
it was a
I
good
really-
time.
What's
You're
up?
so chill and calm. Love listening to you. When you do the lives with Lee, it always seems like it's a night I got shit to do with my kid. So I stream the next day and it's just like so chill. Like I love it. Thank you for doing that. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate you.
Oh, sure. No, it's fun. I love talking true crime. So any crowd, whether it be a few people or a couple hundred or a couple thousand, I'm down for it.
When you started talking about Manson, I like jumped on my phone to like chat and I'm like, this is a pre-record or a post-record. He's never gonna see what I'm saying.
That's
When you
hilarious.
start talking about Manson.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because when I do the polls where I like, hey, put in a one of this or two of that, like a day later, I'm getting ones and twos in my chat, and I'm like, okay, you guys, I can't. That's like we're on replay. I'm not getting.
I've done that before. I'm not even gonna lie, especially if I'm mid work and I stop and I'm really into what I'm listening to and I'm talking to the phone and it's like, this is old. Yeah.
So what's up,
Guilty.
Pete? Are you just chilling tonight? What are you doing?
Yeah, I was just trying to get some couple programs downloaded on the new laptop, and I was wondering if you were going to need me to come on your live. I didn't know what time it started. I'm like, downloading software, you know how it wants to restart the computer like 15 times.
Oh yeah,
So I
yeah,
thought
yeah.
he's going to ask me to come on like right in the middle of that, but
Well,
could have used the older stuff. But anyway, I watched some of what you did.
so here's the
just
good
to see
news. I
how-
mean, yeah, it wasn't necessarily, but I would love to have you on a live because every time we do a live, we're going on your show, and that's fine. I'd love to have you on my live as well. But and in addition, if you wanted to, I could certainly send you the link in StreamYard and get you on the picture on the YouTube side. But usually this is just a Discord kind of hangout. I do show my face on the the backstage account, and certainly you could join me on there for a camera if people wanted to see your lovely face this evening. But if you want to stay off camera, that's your choice as well. So.
Oh no, I don't care. I'm just sitting here in my usual spot. So
Well, maybe I'll send you an invite, and if you want to join the video, you can as well. So let's go invite guest, copy that link, and then I'll go send you a text message or not a text message. I'm going to send you an email to your personal email address with the link to join the StreamYard if you want to.
yeah, no, that'd be cool.
All right. I'm just going to reply to the latest message that you gave me and not really give you any like fanfare. So you should be getting an email any second now, replying to the last email you sent me or something, and it should just have a hyperlink to the studio.
Okay. I'm opening up my Outlook here for a second.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, you guys. Like Pete and I, he was telling me before when he first saw our, my show, he was telling his wife, or his wife was saying, he's like, how the hell am I not going on with this guy? Like, he's got this similar like devil's advocates theme, and he's got little devils on his thing. And so he reached out, and we had, and I was telling him, I said, like, man, how are we going to be together? Cause I'm like super hyper shouty, a million miles an hour, and you're kind of laid back and chill. But it works out pretty cool.
It is funny because I was born in the Bronx, so it is surprising, and I'm Italian, that I am kind of chill, but I've been living in the Midwest for a long time, so that's probably why.
You guys more chill in the Midwest?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I'm a Pacific Northwest guy, so I'm not an East Coast guy. So I thought we were pretty chill on the Pacific Northwest as well. But.
Yeah, you are pretty amped up for a guy
West
that's
Coaster,
from that area. I would think so, but I've had a problem getting this new laptop. I'm just not.
Crime Tech Explorer is saying that they're a murder metal mayhem fan in Jay Embry camp. That's very cool. Very, very cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Did you see? Oh, you're not finding the link I just sent you?
No, I'm not. I'm not able to. For some reason, I'm not able to get this Outlook opened up. I'm not sure what I'm not.
I see.
Yeah, I'm still working on it. But
did you hear about the little? Did you hear about the little misunderstanding between Jay Embry and myself, Pete?
No.
I was just randomly watching videos of different content creators, and he's like, and here's devil's advocates up in my comments now calling me out on shit, and I'm like, what? I didn't call you out for nothing. So like I'm stunned. I was stunned, and I made a short video like, hey, Jay Embry, I have no idea what you're talking about. I didn't call you out. And it turned out like somebody else on YouTube that has the name Devil's Advocates without the 2024 at the end had said something in his comment, and he related it to me. And he actually caught it before I made my apology and said, hey, by the way, it turns out this isn't the Devil's Advocates channel. That was doing.
Okay.
It's kind of funny because I was like, holy shit, like I didn't even think Jay Embry knew who the hell my channel was. Then he's all like, here's this Devil's Advocate asshole up in the comments, pissing all over my show. And I'm like, I am not.
Yeah, that I get that when that one guy, what the hell was his name? He was such an ass. I can't remember the channel's name, but he just ripped on everybody. And there was one time he mentioned something about my video, and I was like, oh, that's cool. The bigger channel mentioning the smaller channel is cool. And then, wound up, not even a week later, he's ripping on me, so it was short-lived, I guess I could say.
I was kind of surprised. As a random thing, and hopefully nobody minds me riffing. I know you just heard me talk like a million miles an hour for an hour, so I probably should shut the fuck up and let other people talk. But I was kind of surprised. I don't know if you saw Birdie interviewed that guy, William 127, that supposedly was a friend of Koberger, and he did an interview with William 127. What's that? You did watch some of that? Yeah.
Some.
So him and Phoenix interviewed William, right? And then it was funny because William had made this chart, right, of the best shows. Oh, that's right. He called you out. He had you on the list. So he had Harsh Reality, right? He had Harsh Reality at the top. Yep. And then he had Murder Metal Mayhem on the list as well. I, of course, sadly, did not make his list, but who cares? But anyways, point being is that it was funny that he put Harsh at the top of the list, and then Harsh came out with a video after that interview with Birdie and basically said, you need to fucking apologize to Jules for calling her fat. Like, that was uncalled for. And I was like,
yeah,
it takes some balls for somebody who just got said, I love this guy's content, to say, you know what, fuck you, you shouldn't have been that way. That was shitty.
Right.
So
did you see the live that Birdie did? I guess it would have had to have been last night, where he was calling out all the people, like in a nice way, that were talking shit about William. Like, that's kind of how he opened the show.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I watched one of the ones I watched today where he was more or less like, because so many people were giving William shit and second guessing everything he said and just being assholes. And Birdie more or less was like, fuck y'all. He's standing up for his friend, and you are in no position to call him a liar or say he's out for clout or whatever. Like, Birdie had his back. Like, I would expect you would do the same thing though, Lee. Because I was in, reading some of the comments and shit people were saying. I'm just like, you know what? this is why people don't come out in defense of, and it's bullshit, because God bless William. I mean, and a lot of what he was saying, like, he was really being careful with his words. God bless him. But like, you had to read between the lines. But I was reading the comments, and I'm like, some of these people aren't too bright. They don't understand what he's trying to say right now, like how they knew each other,
or what he's not trying to say,
and things like that.
Right.
Yeah, because I mean, we all know, but whatever. Yeah. Well, I do. I guess not everybody does. I don't know. Maybe I'm just fucking.
Yeah, and it's funny because one of the things that now that we're talking about it behind the scenes, one of the things that Harsh said that kind of surprised me. I don't know if you heard his response, but he said, "Hey, this William guy, pretty sure you reached out to me and your name was Chris Neely or something like that, and you talked to me about motorcycles." And I'm like, well, that's interesting, because Birdie talked to him at length about his motorcycle championships and trophies and stuff like that. So I'm like, what is that all about? That Harsh is like, yeah, you've reached out to me before, and when you reached out to me, your name was Chris, and now all of a sudden you're William. So who are you? And I'm like, I don't know what the story is behind all that, but it just became more and more interesting the further I watched that.
I didn't know about that. I just know that, I just know personally that I trust Birdie like I trust you, Lee. And if he told me he's vetted and he's good to go, then I'm like, cool, I'll give it some credence. But, people are shitheads. He could have been lying. He could have pulled over everybody's eyes. We don't fucking know. But I'm just saying,
By the way,
who am I to judge? I mean,
Rye Drake in the comments pointed out that he looked for, Williams championships and he wasn't the winner. I think he did say, I think one of his biggest claims to fame was in third place against a couple of the top guys. And so he wasn't first place winner, but I didn't.
He never claimed he was. Yeah. Right. He never claimed that, because I paid attention to that part too, because that was one of the things they were talking crap about.
Yeah.
And that was one of the rebuttals. But anyways.
Oh, and Rye Drake said they listed 10 positions and he didn't see one. Either way, and let me be clear. Let me be clear. I don't want to shit on Birdie's show or anything like that, or even William, because I don't know William personally. So let's be clear. I'm not trying to shit on the whole story. I just found it was interesting I was interested in the fact that good for Birdie that he had a guy on the show that some of the biggest names in following the Kohberger case were like, I saw Birdie's show and I saw William and I've got thoughts about it. So I said to Birdie, I'm like, good for you, man. Like everybody saw that interview. So I think that's it's good for his channel that everybody freaking saw it and top creators were talking about it.
And it's like everything else. You hear it, you take it, and you do with it what you will.
Yeah.
It's free choice. You know, if you want to say, I don't believe in, cool. If you want to, cool, but I personally was sober and I was riveted. So I'm just saying. But you rivet me too, Lee. Don't. Yeah. And
I certainly don't want to have a pity party. I'm trying to learn from Birdie without why he's got such a bigger audience, and I'm wondering like what am I doing wrong? But I'm not gonna do the pity party thing. Real quick, Pete, have you got my link yet for coming on the video or no?
Yeah, I'm here.
Did you get that link?
You on video?
You're backstage. I need to put you on stage. You know what? When I drink a little bit, things get a
ton of echo though.
Is there a ton of stuff? All right, let me get you on stage. Look, hey everybody! If you're watching the backstage account, there's Pete Altieri from Murder Metal Mayhem. Yeah, dude. What's up, man?
What's up?
YouTube, you'll get rid of your echo, I think.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's where your echo's coming. I usually wear in fact, I got headphones in right now to avoid any kind of echo issues.
Yeah, don't have headphones in here right now. But what did you say about muting?
If you just listen to Discord and mute YouTube, you should get rid of your echo.
Oh yeah, just hit mute on YouTube. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Marie, are you here?
Yes, I hear y'all. I'm just putting on lotion.
What did you guys think about? Had you guys seen that? Had you guys seen those Steve Gonzalez's text messages before? Do you think that's legit or no?
I had not seen that. I had not seen that. I didn't even know about that. I I guess until someone gives me a reason not to believe it.
We
all know how I feel about Steve.
I did a little vetting. I did a little vetting of it, and it seems like it's legit. Like Brat Norton, who was in that Breaking That, apparently is well known for doing stuff like that. And they dropped the name of Heidi Bloom, who's not related to Howard Bloom, who's with the New Yorker. So some of it checks out, and some of the stuff that I've heard rumors. I'm hearing an echo for myself somewhere. But anyways, some of the stuff checks out the things that I've heard that supposedly Steve Gonzalez has said before. So there's part of me that thinks it's legit, but I'm a little bit afraid. Like I don't think I would do a long form video on it, but for a live, I think it was okay.
Well, I will say that when you were talking about that, and I was in reading the comments or whatever, because like I said, a lot of people were just making really good comments tonight. One of the comments that I read actually said something like, I wouldn't put it by him. Steve loves to talk. He loves the attention.
Right.
So I'm in that camp. I believe it. I mean, yeah. Steve loves to talk. He must be neglected as fuck at home because he needs a lot of attention. So, yeah.
So did you try to mute your YouTube over there, Pete? Because I am hearing an echo.
Yeah, I got it figured out.
We're still hearing an echo.
My necrotizing fasciitis brain sometimes doesn't allow for such things, but I got it figured out.
Nice.
Yeah, this whole home setup is different than as we talked before.
I think everybody sounds good. I don't have an echo personally, but I don't have YouTube up. I have it just on Discord.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, you know what? Maybe I need to mute Discord, huh? Oh, I don't have YouTube. I don't know. If nobody else is complaining about it, I'm not going to complain about it because I can deal with it.
But my new studio setup, or my studio setup's a lot different than doing it in the dining room. So can't wait to get back out there again.
Beep, 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 beep.
Yeah, that sounds very cool. Yeah, so somebody's still hearing an echo. Jill Weimer inside of our YouTube chat hears an echo, and I hear an echo. But again, it's not like killing me, so I just don't know if we need to worry about it or not. But
I
have everything else off point. When we switched over, I shut the YouTube on my phone, YouTube on the TV, and I brought it just for the Discord.
You guys have anything burning on your mind you want to talk about? Who all in here, I was going to say, do you guys have anything burning on your mind to talk about? And then I realized I would follow it up with this question. How many people in here saw Pete and I together on that show? I heard Pete say, it was kind of funny because I felt, now that I got Pete here, I felt a little bad because when Pete and I first did a live together, it was really well attended. He's like, wow, that was a great turnout and everything was exciting. The second time we went together, that was a pretty good turnout. The third time we go together, he's like, nobody showed up. What the hell's going on? Why are we losing audience?
Well, you know what I think
wasn't it a different time of day? Like, didn't the time of day change? Because I think that makes a huge deal. Was it?
Yeah. What was your thought, Pete, on what you think happened?
No, I was thinking that was the first time we had announced that we were going to do something other than Idaho 4.
Oh, right.
Because I know how a lot of the people
Hey, so are you looking at the chat, Lee?
Yes.
Well, Rydrake wants to talk about the multiple deaths, unless this is an old comment.
Oh, yeah.
The multiple deaths that happened in Moscow. And I say human trafficking because they're on that line that goes from like Brownsville, Texas, all the way up to get people out in Canada for human trafficking. That was my thought when I initially saw that comment. But
yeah, let me see if I can. I'm going to see if I can kill my echo. Oops.
Free Rydrake. It's interesting, especially like I don't really consider a place like Moscow, Idaho, to have a bunch of murders like that. I live in Dallas. That's the shit that happens here.
So
I'm with you.
My gut feeling for Rydrake's, because I don't want to ignore my gut feeling is Brent Kopacki is 100% somehow tied into this scene. Somehow. I don't mean that Brent Kopacki necessarily went into the house that night, but he's somehow tied into the whole FBI investigation. I think he may have been accidentally or on purpose shot and killed by cops because of his involvement in this situation. So I have high suspicion that Brent Kopacki is a real player in this whole scenario. As far as the drowning and the other frat and sorority type murders, deaths, or suspicious stuff, I think it's just part and parcel of that area. I don't know that it plays into what happened at the house that night, but that's my gut feeling, and it's not to downplay anything that you might have on your own theories. It's just that my gut tells me Brent Kopacka, yes, is somehow related. The other ones may just be coincidental, in my opinion, at the moment.
Well, the Hudson Lindau
Can I interrupt for a second?
case of him drowning in
So-
2 inches of
Hold on,
water.
Pete.
YouTube is getting a bunch of echoes because Pete's not in Discord. It's looping around, I think, on YouTube.
Yeah,
So
I was
he
trying to
should
hear.
be talking on
I was trying to hear
Discord, not
Pete.
YouTube.
Say what? Oh, so yeah, Pete, let's take your picture off the YouTube because I think it's cleaner if you're not in the YouTube video, unfortunately, and then we can hear you without an echo. All right, I'm going to remove you from the stage. Now, can you talk again what you were saying? Because you were starting to say something there, Pete. Oh, are you in Discord? Oh, he's not even in Discord. Shit.
Did he drop out?
I guess. How are we getting an echo then?
It says he joined the party again. Maybe he clocked out. I don't know. Maybe he got kicked off for some reason.
Give me a second.
Maybe his signal got weird.
Yeah, the echo was starting to get a little weird, huh? Hopefully he doesn't think I was just like, hey, drop out. We don't want to talk to you anymore. Hopefully he comes back.
So
Sorry about the clusterfuck on the technicalities. We got some issues. It's bad because I felt like bad because we were all stepping over. Pete was trying to answer something and we were all talking over top of him. Oh, he's still in Discord, but he's just backstage for me.
Can you mute me, Lee?
Could I? Yeah, I could.
Okay, well, just in case you want to, because you know me, I start talking and
I was like,
don't
why
stop.
do you want me to mute you? I see what if you were talking over him, yeah, no problem.
I don't want you to, but if I go like off on a tangent,
Yeah.
I mean, feel free. I'll notice it eventually. I'll start
All right.
screaming at my phone and then realize, oh, he muted me.
Pete's
okay,
back.
Pete's back.
Pete, unmute yourself and then try to remember what the hell you were talking about a minute ago when we were all walking on you.
Yeah, I'm going to turn you off from StreamYard because now I'm hearing that.
Yeah, I'll remove you from the studio. There you go.
Okay, there we go. Now that's all gone. No, I was just saying that we were talking about the where did we leave off? I'm sorry, I just lost.
We were talking about the other murders and the kids that were the other sorority frat murders.
Oh, Hudson Lindau, yeah.
Hudson, yeah.
Hudson Lindau, he was in the behind, or they found his body behind Greek Row in that Paradise Creek.
Yeah.
Which is oddly enough the other kid that died like 6 years earlier that had the Joseph, I can't recall his name offhand, but he died at the other end of Paradise Creek under the bridge, Paradise Creek Bridge. So weird connection with Paradise Creek, but
it is.
There's some people that they claim waterboarded him and then dumped the body back there. And that there were some people that knew about it that were thinking about going to the police. And one of them, rumor was it was Ethan, because Ethan was good friends with Hudson. And if he knew that these guys did that to him, I could see where that could have set off one hell of an argument that night at that party that escalated from a little dick joke into like, I'm going to the cop kind of thing. You know what I mean? A lot more serious.
And I don't want to dismiss that, but here's the problem I have. So I'm going to tell you why I have had a problem with it, but I don't want to dismiss that I could be wrong, which is that if some of this shit is all fallout from Greek Row shit and sorority shit and fight between the Greek Row society, I have a hard time believing the FBI and law enforcement couldn't break that wall of silence kind of thing. I just can't believe that somebody in those college students wouldn't talk, that everybody's just going to be mum's the word. They would have to be tighter lipped than the blue wall of silence for police. And I just can't believe that a bunch of college kids, somebody isn't going to talk and squeak on what really happened that night. So that's why it's hard for me to go down it's all just this big, Greek Row fight that got out of hand and all the kids are just not talking about it and won't share. part of me just says there's somebody would have got to somebody, unless of course you want to go down the road that law enforcement just never looked hard and they already had decided who was going to do it, so they didn't probe people. But I don't know.
Well, I remember reading or seeing something in a newspaper a few days after the crimes, and they were talking about where the police were looking, and it was that area over by the Greek Row housing, and then talking about them actually going into Sigma Chi, but then that was cut off real quick, and they pulled out of there. And I've always thought that was Scott Green not wanting to, bug his, favorite charity, the Greek Row, contributing 75% of the donations to that school, that he told them get out of there, leave them alone, or something to that effect. And then all of a sudden, Brian Koberger dropped out of the sky. So, and
then, as an aside, I've been reading Howard Bloom's book. I'm almost done. I've got one more video to do, last 2 chapters. But in the last chapter that I just read on Howard Bloom's book, he was outlining how there was a multi-jurisdictional drug task force. That's what Howard Bloom's got in his book. So we've heard about it forever, but Howard Bloom's got it in his book as well, about the drug task force that was using college kids to go undercover essentially and try to find local drug dealers in the town and then tie them back to Seattle area where they were bringing in drugs from Seattle, the Emma Bailey, the Demetrius, and stuff like that, and to try it back to the cartels, and that this was a big thing, that they were using college students, and that law enforcement really didn't give a shit if they burned college students and put their lives at danger, making them confidential informants to turn against the drug dealers and try to find try to trace it up to the cartels. So that's an interesting theory as well, as was there a drug task force actively working with Greek Row to try to use college students and as informants to try to find the local drug dealers? Did that get out of hand? Are they covering that shit up? It's just crazy.
Yeah, that's very definitely a good theory. I think that's the unfortunate thing is every time you try to rule something out, or pass on a theory, it somehow ties back in again. They all intertwine. It's a big ball of mess.
Hey, by the way, you've got a fan, Pete, and I'm just going to put some anxiety into that person, unfortunately. Crime Tech Explorer would like to talk to Pete, but they've got a little bit of mic anxiety, and they'd like to see if they can work up the courage to talk to you. So hopefully you hang around long enough to get them past their fear, because there's nothing to be afraid of.
You have your wires crossed.
Oh, do I?
You have your wires crossed. Yeah.
How so?
So Crime Tech Explorer is good.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
How come it says Crime Tech Explorer? I would love to talk to Pete, though, so I would love to go on the mic in a bit if that'd be cool. Oh, okay. Yes, right. So they aren't the ones saying they have mic anxiety. Sorry, it was Rye Drake who said he had some mic anxiety. I just interpreted by saying that they were going to wait to come on the mic as them also having mic anxiety. My bad. Anyways.
No problem.
So y'all really think college kids would snitch like that? Because maybe I just raised my son better than that, but we don't snitch here. Like, you really think college kids would snitch like that and be informants?
Well, I do, and I do in a sense. Like it. So Howard Bloom pointed out I forgot who it was, but there was an actual name of a law enforcement officer who said in Howard Bloom's book, we have been using college students in the Greek life to go after drug dealers. So I don't believe that guy's lying. I do believe again, I don't believe everything Howard Bloom says. Let's get that clear. But if Howard Bloom has an officer on record going on Howard Bloom's book and saying, yes, we're using college students to try to get into the drug community, I believe that my logic says that's probably legit. So whether or not, I think they probably have been able to get into some college kids and get them to try to work with law enforcement to try to bust up the drug rings. But that's my gut feeling.
Okay. Well, I'm just curious because, like, Tupac and Biggie raised me better than that, and I raised my son better than that. And like, I just like, even if maybe Marie can chime in because she's from Houston, but like where I'm from, like, you do not open your damn mouth regardless. You don't just take a deal like that. That's why all the stuff about metheny and all the whatever, everybody turning and snitching and switching. I was always like, what is wrong with you people? That's why he fucking got killed.
Yeah.
Shut your damn mouth. Steve's next. Steve needs to shut the fuck up. Y'all know how I feel about Steve. But that's why, I mean, that's my whole thing. I'm like, if you really think these kids would turn like that? I mean, unless they were like, they had like a shit ton of drugs in the car. But like, okay, if you say they will, then we'll go with it.
Well, again, I'm not the definitive answer. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not the definitive answer. I'm just saying that my gut tells me that the law enforcement officer was probably correct, that they have been able to get some students. Again, not everybody will be a snitch for sure, but you can always find somebody. Hey, Rhonda, by the way, are you still on the chat?
I'm here.
Could you see if my Bose headset is around, because I'd like to get mobile a little bit and be able to walk around the house and
right
be able to stay
in front
on.
of me.
Could you bring me the headset so I can try to hook that up?
I've got it right in front of me here.
How much would I have to pay to bring me the fucking...
Crime Tech Explorer have the mic though? They wanted
What?
to talk.
Yeah.
Crime Tech Explorer wants to talk.
Let's bring him on.
So STFU.
Shut the fuck up. That's funny.
My wife just told me to shut the fuck up.
It's okay.
Crime Tech Explorer, you've been invited to the mic.
Come on, don't let us down.
Yeah, I know, like nothing like performance anxiety.
There you go, babe.
All right.
I don't know if they have a charge, but there you go.
Thank you very much. And I got to see if I can hook this up and get some Bluetooth going on.
Yes, Molly McMetheny. Yes.
All right, I'm going to guarantee you that when I get this thing going, my sound is going to change because I'm going to be at a different microphone. So give me a second.
Hey guys.
Hey,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Awesome. How are you guys doing?
Drunk.
Yeah, me too.
Doing good.
Drinking this white wine to kind of ease the heat here.
All right.
Bye.
License. Fucking input.
Turned my fans off so there's no white noise.
Sorry.
But yeah, I just wanted to say hi to Pete. And I've been a fan for a while. I'm the first 6 months to 8 months of Horns High Club. And
Oh yeah, man! Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
No problem. And
weird being gone for so long and then coming back to everybody, and so many of you stayed around.
Exactly. Yeah, I stayed around for the longest time, and
it was a rough.
Glad you're okay.
A rough time.
Yeah.
Being in the hospital.
No, I get it.
I was.
And you survived.
Yeah, I had the second surgery. I could see like a friggin' eagle now.
Are you above 2020?
The VA is taking very good care of me. And
Nice. As they should.
My wheelchair and ramps and they got a home health care people coming out here to sit with me and do stuff here around the house. So yeah, it's just been amazing. They're great.
You deserve it.
Usually don't hear that. When I first got out of the Army in '94 with a couple of herniated discs in my back, I had to go to the VA, but not very often, and it was just misery every time I had to go. So they've come a long way from that.
Yeah, we've only heard the bad stories about the VA. At least I have. So it's good to hear a good story.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, there are good VAs out there. Every state runs their own. So there may be some slight differences. Like, for example, when the Brent Kopacka stuff came up, I did an hour-long true crime deep cuts on it because I thought there was a story to tell there about him and his issues with PTSD. And I brought in a guy that I served with who has PTSD currently and from the Gulf Wars and stuff. And it was an interesting interview, but we talked about what he would be going through with that problem on top of the meth addiction. That was just horrible, so he was in a bad way.
But he also talked about that he had tried to get help from the VA, but wasn't getting the help. And I wonder, I'm not accusing him of this, but I wonder if it could possibly be that he didn't want the help and he was just blaming the VA because it was an easy scapegoat instead of telling whoever he was asking him, like, I just don't want to go do it. You know what I mean? Because even in a small town, that was the argument I read, was that, he was in a small town area with very little resources. But honestly, with me and where I live, if they can't provide the service, they'll let you go to a civilian and do it. And I've used that constantly. So, I mean, he would have been able to just go to a hospital, it wouldn't have been like he would have been, short of somewhere to go if he truly was in the system and trying to get help. So that's why I questioned maybe that he wasn't. And so that came up. And I wondered if there was anything to that, but I don't know.
Hey,
I
Pete.
like Lee. I don't know if he's involved or not, but
Exactly.
something smells
I'm
like he
skeptical.
was.
Exactly. I want to know how it dovetails with BK, and I want to know something other than something that's been publicly available so long, generic information.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
My theory on Kopaka is not fully developed. My theory on Kopaka was based on was it Darren Duncan, who was his best friend, allegedly Darren Duncan's Kopaka's best friend, who said after they shot and killed Kopaka that somebody had factory wiped his phone, and that the family thought that was fucking weird. And I thought to myself, was there a connection between Kopaka and Kohberger? Was Kohberger's phone number in Kopaka's phone or something like that? Because again, and I hate to beat the fucking dead horse, but I can at least put Kopaka's family from Pennsylvania. I can put Kopaka's mother in Pennsylvania at the same time the Kohbergers were. I can put Kopaka's mother in Idaho at the same time. And then you've got these two guys living within 2 miles of each other in Podunk fucking Pullman, Washington. If they were ever in the same place in Pennsylvania, you can't tell me it's just random ass coincidence that those two guys came from Pennsylvania, ended up in Pullman in Washington within a couple blocks of each other. I just can't. For a couple miles. I just can't.
Working together, working for the same employer.
That part I can't confirm either. Did they? I mean, was there proof that they worked together or no?
Yeah. He was Kopaka was like maintenance. I've seen different things that he did, but the most reliable thing I read was that he was in maintenance of some sort. So maintenance guys. That's who I used to work with when I did what I did, building inspection for a living. But, those were, the guys I met with all the time. They're all over the place. So you could have very easily run into Brian, running new computers into his office or, things like that he would have been needed for whatever reason. So
my gut instinct is they knew each other and that they're related in somehow, and I can't put it together. And didn't Hitler one time say on the stand something like he slipped up and said Kopaka's name instead of Kohberger at one of the hearings, and I was like, what the fuck?
Was Judge.
Oh, that was Judge. Yeah.
That was weird.
I have to apologize. I thought we were talking about William for 1 second, but I do have thoughts on Kopaka. I've always had this theory that, there was a blurb that was released where he said he said the word roommates, and then there was a standoff. Yeah. But you watch the video, his roommates are fine. They're not fighting. I've always had this kind of inkling that he at least uttered the words, they're trying to frame me for the roommates at some point in this, and that's where the word roommates came from.
Yeah, I heard the same thing you did, and I heard two different versions. Somebody said he yelled out, "I didn't kill those roommates." That was one thing that somebody said, and then somebody else said, "No, he said I did kill the roommates, or I killed those roommates." So there was something that was yelled out where Kopaka was talking about the roommates, and may not have been a reference to his roommates he lived with, but rather the roommates in Idaho. So I don't know.
Exactly. It's like a Kopaka's cat situation. It's like Schrodinger's cat. I can't piece it together.
I can't either, and I feel like I watched the long
just like
videos.
everything else, though.
Yeah,
Everything else in
Yeah.
this case.
Your mic's
So friggin'
But
big.
my
It
mic's
would
what?
be a good
Picking up a
source
little
of
bit.
a contraband or just a spare K-bar that you can
It's just if you
that you could swab some DNA onto. But that's just me. It's my opinion.
The only problem
One
I have
possible.
the only problem I have with the planted DNA is it happened so quickly, right? Because apparently, okay, hold on. Follow the logic. I don't know that it happened quickly. Supposedly, Brett Payne found the knife sheath very quickly. We don't know for sure if the chain of custody was followed the whole time and who had access to it and at what point the DNA got onto the knife sheath. That's the quick question. So if the knife sheath was found right
Was
away,
it on the second?
huh?
Mm.
Go ahead.
Was it on the second pass of the room?
It was on the
first,
it was on the
I
second
thought
pass. It was on the second pass. It was the second pass.
Yeah.
Which to be fair, I don't know that really is all that suspicious. I mean, the first pass, you could easily miss something. So I'm willing to look the other way on it was found on the second pass. I really am. But again, the question becomes how long was it before they found DNA on it, and was the chain of custody as such that they didn't have a reason to put someone's DNA? I just don't know. And the other problem I have with it is if it was planted evidence, why don't plant a lot more DNA than a granular piece freaking the size that's invisible to the naked eye?
But didn't it double though once the FBI got a hold of it?
Well, that's the question. I think what doubled was the file size. So they took a sample and then they basically did genetic sampling reenactment in a computer and doubled the size of the file. I don't know that they doubled the size of the material. I don't know.
That seems fishy to me. As a computer guy,
my
background is in actually, ironically, psychology and criminology at the bachelor's level, not at the PhD level from Ohio State. But that seems fishy to me.
I'm with you in the sense
it's
that
more information.
I'm a psych major.
I interviewed a guy that talked about that DNA.
Yeah,
and he said that that it's very fishy that they didn't send the sheath in. They took the DNA off the sheath or off the button, because that just lends itself to more opportunity to drop a few things in there and seal the bag up, And I asked them point blank, how easy would it be for a guy like that had access to what he would have had access to fake, or frame this guy? And he said, incredibly easy. They had access to doorknobs and handrails and so many things that he would have touched that they would have had all sorts of his DNA.
His apartment door, exactly, his car door handle. I mean, anything. But I'm of several minds in this case. I have like a running, series of 3 or 4 theories that I go back and forth between, and also, just the rabbit hole, lambs to the slaughter. I entertain them all. So
there you go.
Yeah, I'm in a difficult place myself because my gut instinct tells me Kohberger is somehow involved in it, but I don't think he did it alone, and I'm not even sure he went into the house. He may have just been the driver, but that's just a gut thing. And again, my channel and my focus is on the presumption of innocence until proven guilty. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, but there's that part of me that says I won't be terribly surprised if something comes out shocking in the court and we're like, well, fuck, he was there, So I don't know that I will be surprised.
I just don't see him being a team player. I don't
that's what a lot of people say. Right.
I have a hard time imagining him and his OCD-ness letting other people do stuff.
But along that line, Pete, I also don't see him being able to do fucking 4 murders on 2 floors in 8 minutes. I just fucking don't see that.
No,
exactly.
Not.
Exactly. Absolutely. He's not a joiner, and it was at least 2 or more perpetrators and or weapons.
Yeah.
The wounds don't match.
And again, in my theory,
I'm still looking at the machete.
In my theory, and going along with the whole, I don't see him as a working with people kind of thing. I still feel like there's this weird thing: is what if Kohberger in his desire to make friends and whatever, just simply gave somebody a ride and didn't realize what was going to happen that night. He drove somebody to the scene, he dropped somebody off, and then it turned into a shit show and he bailed out. And then he's like, fuck, now and maybe that could even explain how his DNA got on the knife. He was in the presence of the car and something fucking, got. So there's a possibility that he didn't know what was going to go down, but somehow was in the area and was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So
He was very naive.
right.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm still not fully convinced.
Me neither.
Convinced him to do about anything.
Yeah.
Personally.
Exactly.
That's what I think.
Crazy story.
Yeah, exactly. The whole, I think they're piecing together the just a ragtag, just a bunch of random cars across a certain time span, possibly faking timestamps, switching between Zulu and regular time. I mean, we won't know until trial, obviously, but it just stinks to me, that part of it. It seems like they've been winging it this whole time, and
the sad part is for me that I have a gut. This is what I hate. I feel like they're gonna convict him no matter what. They've got a hard on to make sure they'll bring out last minute witnesses to put them on the stand saying they saw him there. And the question is, can they convince a jury that you can't possibly stack up that much circumstantial evidence on the same guy without him being the most unlucky motherfucker you've ever seen, or he has to be guilty. And that's what they're gonna do. They're just gonna convince people that how could it not be him?
Exactly. I think they're using like a RICO situation. They have a ragtag group of compromised confidential informants that they've gotten off random traffic stops, as we're seeing, and then they're using them like a revolving door of these people. They can materialize any witness to say whatever they want anytime they want. We're seeing it.
Molly McMichaels stinks to high heaven to me. That I cannot believe that she's going to be their surprise eyewitness. I saw him at the scene. My ass. Like, that's the most ridiculous. Yeah. How is she going to be credible? I don't know. And the question is,
she better bring her glasses.
Well, Dylan's ridiculous, and I mean Dylan should be a non-factor. I can't even believe they're even thinking about bringing her into the stand.
No.
If I was Dylan's mom, I'd fuck the crap out of her. I really would. If I was Dylan's mom, I would shake her and be like, you can get your shit together. Quit lying to everybody.
Right.
I just...
I think Dylan lured the girls. I think she lured Kaylee back to the house. I think she was in touch with people. Yeah. She was trying to make sure that the person knew when the girls were going to be all there at the house.
Yeah.
Now, did Dylan know that they were going to be murdered, or she just was letting somebody know that they were there? Did she know what was going to happen? That's the $1 million question. Did she also did she also freak out and go, "Holy shit, what just happened? I didn't know that's what I was involved in," and then try to hide it, or did she know all damn well what was going to happen?
Exactly. So many people, I think a lot of the guilters, they have a parasocial kind of obsession with DM and BF, and they see them as their daughters. And they think, oh, my daughter wouldn't do that, so she didn't do that, And what they don't realize is if you, I'm not trying to advertise other channels on your channel, but Explore with Us, they do a lot of interrogation case videos that are hours long, and a lot of them are attractive young girls. Yeah, exactly. A lot of them are attractive young girls, and they've done crazy crimes with machetes, knives. It happens,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Carla Faye Tucker, we did that on the pod down there in Texas. She killed a dude with a pickaxe, and she had an orgasm when she did it. She said she got death row, and my buddy was a prison guard on the female death row in Texas at the time, and saw her go in. Yeah, it was a pretty big deal. But yeah, Carla Faye Tucker, check that case out. I can't remember.
I don't know.
80s, 70s or 80s maybe, but it's an interesting one. But she was terminated, let's say.
I will check it out.
Yeah, there's
That's one
been
I
some
hadn't heard of.
brutal women that are wicked in Australia. Catherine Knight, she was a woman who you definitely did not want to be on her bad side as a mate because she took her boyfriend, did something to piss her off, and she killed him and then skinned him in one piece. She used to work at a slaughterhouse, so she was
Ah.
really good with the knives. And she
Yep.
took his skin off in one complete piece and hung
Wow.
it next to the body. And the cop showed up and just freaked. She had his head in a stew pot on the stove, and then
Oh, wow.
prepared the rest of his body and had plates set up for the kids, his kids, to eat their dad when she got busted. But yeah, I mean, this chick was over the top, and then the family wanted the guy's skin back on for the services. And so, because it was one piece, they were able to put it back on and had the
Wow, that's
funeral.
impressive.
And, yeah. Catherine
That's
Knight,
impressive.
yeah, with a
Okay.
K.
I will check her out. Okay.
No, she just
Yeah, I'm
savage. Yeah, there's some good ones over there.
Yeah, I consider myself like well versed in true crime and serial killer and murderabilia, but I had never heard of that actually. So
Yeah, Rose West, she was another one with her husband Fred in the UK. They were bad too. There's been some really, really heinous females out there. I've got a book by Peter Vronsky on just female serial killers that we used to do.
I'll check it out.
Episodes from on the podcast. Yeah.
Hey Pete, I haven't figured out a way to work this in because the conversation hasn't allowed it. But I just was going to remind you because you and I talked about this. Travis Decker's still on the run, or they haven't found his body. I don't know if he's alive or not, but that guy's still on the fucking run.
I heard. I was talking to Lucky earlier about doing a live together, and he said that him and AR are doing a live on Tuesday, and it's about that case. And I was like, God damn, that's still going on. I couldn't believe it.
Right? Yeah. Part of me thinks he's got to be dead, and they just haven't found his body yet. But I'm thinking, well, shit. I guess he could.
I mean,
they said he could. They said earlier. They said he could be out there in the woods for months and be able to survive. He's trained in living in the woods and shit.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he's an Army Ranger. That's what those guys live for, is that kind of crazy shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was not an Army Ranger, so I didn't do stuff like that. Drove a
you were a
tank.
bomb guy, right? Tank guy. That's right.
Us guys have stomped on the women. We had all women talking earlier, and then the guys got talking, and the women all went quiet. They're like, "You misogynist motherfuckers!" You took over the conversation, and
they can rejoin.
Right.
Yeah.
Come on, girls, don't leave me hanging. Now you're making me feel like I'm an asshole.
I think it happened whenever I took the mic. Sorry.
I'll blame you.
Don't be afraid.
You're good, Crime Tech. I'm in the chat.
Cool.
Somebody's calling me out. Lee, what's Ray Drake say about Lee? What's going on? I was just looking in the chat.
That was me. I was saying that I'm worried about you going to the trial and not being able to keep your mouth shut.
Oh God, I'm not going to say shit in the courtroom. Are you kidding me? I'm a good little boy. I won't fucking say
She's
shit.
gonna have to go to jail for contempt.
I might be like,
She's
are
gonna
you
have to go
fucking
get
kidding
you out of
me?
jail for contempt.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Do it on the last day of the trial. Wait till the last day at least.
No, I will be a good little obedient citizen. I promise.
Okay, you be a
That's
good boy.
gonna
And
be
keep your
so
mouth
funny.
shut.
My ass is not getting held in contempt of court and ending up in jail. I have no criminal record. I don't want to start.
Oh, I forgot that was the consequence. That's right.
Yeah. I'll get my ass arrested if I stand up in a courtroom and make a stink.
I have to do some interviews on my channel too to get you more exposure going out there.
Yeah.
Put you in my stuff at night.
Yeah, thank you.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can get in. I mean, I already had to change my reservation. I had a room set up for the August 11th date, and then they changed the date to August 18th. And the guy that I was renting from didn't have the room available the next week, so I had to go to somebody else. In a way, it's actually better because he was kind of like real brief with all his response, like, yeah, sure, whatever. And So I didn't get a good vibe. Now the new person that I'm renting a room from is like, hey, this is great, but I got family coming in September for the first 2 weeks of September. So if the trial goes that long, I'm not going to be able to rent you that room for those weeks. I'm like, okay, that's fine. So we'll see. I don't know if I can get in. I'm still working on the details. It's really hard to get the court to respond to me. I've been asking the court. I got their media contact. I've been emailing them and like, hey, I'm coming from out of town. I'm gonna rent the room. I need to know what my chances are. Like just is it a lottery system? Is it a first come first serve? Can I stand in line at midnight and get in if I want to wait long enough in line? What are the rules? And they're just fucking not answering, so I don't know.
Oh, that sucks.
Because I'll do that. I'll stand in line for fucking 8 hours if it can guarantee me getting in the courtroom every day.
Yeah, that'd be really cool, man.
But it sounds like it's going to be a first come first serve click thing, and it's going to be a matter of your internet speed and how many other 4,000 people all applied to get in at the same time. And of course, half the courtroom's already taken up with freaking family. And, yeah.
Right.
Lee, could you switch mics? Your mic is horrible. You're sitting at your desk anyway, right?
Yeah, I can try to switch the mic. Hold on. Does anybody else think my mic is horrible, or is it just Rhonda?
Yeah, it sounds bad, bro.
Okay.
Thank you.
How about now?
So much
Way
better.
better. Thank you.
All
So
right,
much better.
Sorry about that. Rhonda told me about that earlier, and I just blew her off because I'm like, what the fuck? Whatever. You don't know shit. But yeah, okay, all right. She knows.
How long do you think it's gonna last, Lee?
What's
How long do
that?
you think that trial's gonna last? Yes.
3 months.
What do you think?
Well, 3 months is what they have it scheduled for, and I do believe that the reason why they want it to start as when they do is because they're trying to get done before Christmas, because they don't want to sequester the jury over Christmas. So I feel like Hippler is going to do everything in his power to make sure that trial is wrapped up before Christmas, because it's a major problem for people to have to be away from their families because they're sequestered during Christmas. So I suspect it'll be done before December, mid-December.
Well, isn't Diddy's only going on 3 weeks right now, or is it just time has gotten away from me?
I don't know.
How long has the Diddy trial been going on?
I think it
hasn't been that long. Like, I cannot believe they did closing today.
Yeah. Yeah, they're right. They're in closing. So yeah, it hasn't been a super long trial, but I think it was was it a month or two? Maybe it was a month. I don't know.
Maybe how long Luigi's is going to last. Because, we're doing a road trip to New York.
Yeah.
Well, it won't be a road trip. It'll be an airline flight and then an Airbnb. So I'm just trying to get an idea how long these things are lasting, because, damn, I'm going to have to save up the vacation time.
I'm guessing Luigi's case is going to be only a couple months. But I don't know. And that's of course.
I already told my boss I'm going to need those days off, and he just looked at me and laughed. So, he said, okay.
Yeah.
He said, if you have the time, he's like, I'm not going to say you can't go. And I was like, okay, good. I was just curious because I feel like Diddy just started, but it feels like Cassie. It's been so long since we heard from Cassie, so I was just curious what the actual time frame was and what was normal. Because OJ lasted forever, didn't it? Or was I just young? Like, I don't know.
I feel
like OJ went on for like 6 months.
It felt like it was a long time. I think it was 4 months, but it felt like a long time.
That was a long time. I remember actually in science class in I think 7th or 8th grade, they instead of class we watched the verdict to the trial. Not to show my age or anything.
I was in high school and I watched it.
Yeah,
I was in journalism. I was a writer, and I was actually my senior paper was on it because it was a few years later. And I remember watching it. It was my freshman year. I was sitting in the journalism room with the juniors and seniors, and they had it on because they were juniors and seniors and nobody cared. And I remember watching it. Yeah, I was at school. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because
you guys know about the
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Do you guys know about the theory of Charlie and what allegedly actually happened? They basically, there was a 2-person crime, Charlie and OJ, and the prosecution, for whatever reason, refused to. They weren't able to prove 2 people did it. So they were trying to pin a 2-person crime on one person, and that is essentially one of the reasons that led to him, getting off, other than the racial tensions at the time.
Who's Charlie?
Have you read If I Did It?
Yeah.
Or
I didn't kill my wife, but if I did, here's how I did it.
yeah. So he was allegedly the mob tie from New Jersey that went out to California to with with OJ. He didn't go there specifically for him, but he just happened to be there. There's actually a journalist that I got most of this theory from. I think it's Chris. I'm gonna have to look this up in a second, but he explains it much better. But it actually dovetails
Chris
with
Darden?
the possibility of this trial, pinning a multiple 2+ perpetrator crime on one person and how it might fail.
Sounds like Idaho. If it's a multi-murder
exactly.
if it's a multi-murder scene and you're trying to figure out how you can convince the jury that it was done by one person because you don't have. Let's say the other person was maybe dead because they've already been shot and killed by police, and now you got to try to explain how one person did it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Exactly. Chris Todd is the guy's name who has the theory, and I can put it in chat if you guys want to watch it.
Yeah, sure.
Not to pull, links away from you. I know there's, but just informationally.
I still have the book. Well, my mom does. My mom, it's in a box of stuff from high school because I went through it about 2 months ago. So I still have the book. I can go get it and read it. But that's interesting. I just don't remember. It's been so long, and I was only 15 when I read it. So it's been 30 years. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I will
But
find
that's
the video in chat. So yeah, this Chris Todd guy, I'm not sure heads or tails yet, but he has a lot of theories about Kurt Cobain, OJ, Natalie Wood, but a lot of them are. I think there's something to it.
Interesting. Well, only 3 people know for sure.
Exactly.
That would be Ron, Nicole, and he knows whether or not he actually did it. Which, in retrospect, when it happened, I really didn't think he did it. But now, looking back, which is why they don't want 15-year-olds to be on juries. Yeah. Now, looking back, I'm like, you know what? Even if maybe he was just coked up in a rage.
Did you see that documentary by Netflix recently on OJ and how that ended? Did you see that? I loved how that ended with that whole personal friend of OJ who's having a conversation. And again, it's one person, but personal friend of OJ and basically come on, man, did you do it? And he's like, man, if she hadn't have come out with a knife, she would still be alive. And he's like, fuck, did he just fucking admit that it was like a rage thing, that she come out with a knife and approach him or whatever and confront him and he just fucking lost his shit, or whether it was planned? I don't know.
Oh, thank you. I'll have to go back and look at that. I see it now.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense to me. OJ had mob ties, just randomly, it seemed, and he had he seemed he had a random helper this particular time while he was in a rage, and it would have been a crime of passion, but it was like a double crime of passion. It seems like.
Well, they said that Ron wasn't supposed to be there. They said that Ron was dropping. If that's a true story, and she wasn't hooking up with him.
Oh yeah, I think Ron was not supposed to be there. Yeah.
But I always wondered, or did the family just say that? Because let's face it, that family was hurting so bad. I got aggravated with them, but I felt bad for them. I'm like, was that really what was happening, or was he there for a hookup, or did they just think he was there for a hookup? I mean, it was so much, and we'll never know. It was so brutal. It was awful.
I got a quick question for just as a straw poll for the frickin' 8 of us who are here. This is not a great straw poll, but I just want to know. I assume everybody in here is following the Bryan Kohberger case. Is there any part of you guys? I want to know if you guys think this. Is there any part of you guys that thinks that Ann Taylor is part of the fix, that she's not really providing a solid defense for him, that she's in with she's a paid, public defender. She's in, and is she in on basically not giving him a good defense that they'll do because everybody wants him, and she's not really providing a great defense for him, or not?
I do not believe that personally. I have other thoughts, but I do not believe that. At least, dear God, I would hope not. I do not believe that in my heart. No.
That's good. Yeah, I'm not sure. I see her doing things that I don't think are super solid, and I don't know if it's, just her bumbling, or whether she's purposely bumbling it. I don't know.
I wonder if
About
she's
bumbling.
scared. I wonder if she's
Yeah.
scared and
Yeah.
she's fucking up. Because, like, I mean, honestly, Moscow, Idaho would be the least place I would ever think that I would be scared to do something like that. But if it's really this shady and it's really that messed up, maybe she's terrified.
But what
I
are they
mean,
going to do? Are they
anything
going
is
to are you
possible.
going to kill Are they
I-
going to kill Ann Taylor? I don't. Does she think? You think she's afraid of her life? Or I don't know.
I don't know. Could be. I mean, I don't know. What if they put her in there and said, "You better lose this case, or we're gonna kill it, or we're gonna." I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel more like she's not as good as they want her to be, and she knows it. So maybe she's like, "Let me just lose it, so someone good can come in and win it on appeals for me."
Hey, by the way,
I mean, I
I
don't
do
know.
get the feeling
Rye
that
Drake.
she is like reading
Sorry.
instead of talking.
Yeah, Rye
sorry.
Drake asked a
Yeah.
question in the chat that I wanted to comment on. Rye Drake asked the question, why would she take on a second death penalty case? And here's the thing: have we ever considered, or have we already talked about the possibility that the second case coincides with this case? That there's something about that
Exactly.
death penalty case that she picked up was a deal being made to come forward with information on Kohberger's case, that maybe they're related in some way. Because I've always felt that was the case, that the answer to why she picked up another death penalty case is because maybe it actually fucking relates to this case.
Exactly.
I
If-
never
if
thought
Jay
about
Embry
that.
is right, I do believe there's a lot of credence to that. If Jay Embry is correct, and I think he's correct in a lot of things, that could be the case. I don't
Yeah.
know if you can use classified or confidential information from another case to another case, but it would be a good 4D chess strategy, in my opinion.
Right. And that's what I
I never thought about it, but
Hitler
I mean-
chastised her for why would you pick up another death penalty case, and my question was, well, maybe there's a reason for it. Maybe there's a reason beyond there's only a handful of people who are allowed to be able to handle that death penalty case, and she's one of them. That's one argument. But maybe there's another reason. Maybe it's because it gives her something on this case that she picked up that case. But,
Exactly. Because I do believe that they are Aryan Brotherhood or Aryan Knight related or adjacent.
Yeah.
That second or maybe even third possible death penalty case that
And
she's taken on.
And follow. I just thought of this just now in my. Hey, maybe I've had a few 2 drinks, but anyways, the point. I just thought of it, and it was relatively recently that she picked up that second death penalty case. So when you go back to the whole question of, well, if you had alternative suspects or alternative perpetrators, why didn't you come forward with this 2.5 years ago? Maybe the new case is where one of her leads came from. Maybe that's why it's coming in late, is because the new case.
Exactly. And are they possibly one of the 4 alternate suspects right now,
Right.
or alternate perpetrators?
It's a
Do you guys
That's
have any
interesting. I
theories
never
on
thought
who those
about
are?
that.
Yeah, I want to hear you guys' theories on who the 4 are. I know one's the stalker.
Jack
vape
Jack
shop,
DeCour. Jack DeCour, I'm certain, is one of the 4.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Has to be.
I'm on Jack.
Jack
I'm
Showalter.
sorry.
Jack Showalter is
that-
probably another one.
Yeah, and the 2
Which one
Davids. The 2 Davids
Yeah.
over at St. Mackay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised Emma
That's
or
one of my top
Demetrius.
3 theories, too.
I have a
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
I have a question. Jack DeCour is the ex-boyfriend, though, right? Because I get my Jacks confused.
Yes, Jack DeCour's
Yeah.
ex-boyfriend. Mhm.
Exactly.
Okay, DeCour is the ex-boyfriend. He's the one with Murphy.
Yeah.
And
Not Rogaine Jack. I think Rogaine Jack was the current boyfriend at the time of death.
are we
Possibly.
saying that because
No, that was
hair?
Jake. That was Jake, the one
Jake
that was
wrote-
Maddie's boyfriend. The one that was out.
Oh,
of
that's
town.
right.
What's funny
Gotcha,
is,
Jake's
and I
driver.
got to be careful. I don't know if you guys heard me, but I ran into a girl at a bar in Boise who claimed to know the person that was dating Kaylee when she was murdered, and said that Kaylee's boyfriend was at the bar that night, and that guy's name wasn't Jake. I'm like, I don't want to say who she told me the boyfriend was, because I've heard the name before, but I'm afraid to say it because, again, I don't want to slander anybody's name. But what's interesting is this girl told me the guy's name that supposedly was dating Kaylee at the time she was murdered, and I haven't heard you guys mention the guy's name, so I'm just trying to figure out, like, is it?
I know
only-
what you're referring to.
Yeah.
I know, but I can't remember the name. but I know what you're talking. Yeah, because I caught it on a live when I first remember. I'm super late to the party, so I had to watch old lives from years ago. Not years ago, but remember that's how I got on Koberger, by watching old shit. And I do remember something like that, but I can't remember anything specific.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't say it.
I won't say it.
Don't say it if you're not comfortable. Don't say it. I would.
Yeah, I don't want to say it. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But I remember there being something. I just can't remember what it was.
Like I said, if somebody were to bring up the person's name and I was like, okay, that's kind of what I heard, I would be, but I don't want to bring up the name without hearing. And she didn't give me a first and last name. I only have first name. So it's one of those things that I've like, when she said the first name, I immediately said to her, wait a minute, let's talk about that. I've heard that name before. And but again, and it sucks that she just dropped off the radar and I don't want to pressure her, but it just makes me wonder how close she was to the.
I'm just curious what kind of stories you're going to get when you get up there.
Yeah. Well, I'm shy. That's the thing. I don't know that I can just talk to random strangers. I'm not good at that kind of shit.
That's why I should go with you.
There you go.
I'm kidding, Rhonda. I'm kidding. Yeah, it seems like I feel like Lee, you could. I feel like you just take a couple shots and you're good.
True. Liquor helps a little bit. And to be fair, when I talked to this girl, I hadn't had a single drink. It just fell into my lap. It was like, hey, that's cool. Yeah. To be fair,
I feel like it's a situation.
Yeah.
I feel like if the situation was right and you really wanted the info, you being the way you are with your personality, I think it's just going to come out. I don't think you're even going to have to think about it.
Here's the thing. I don't want to wax super philosophical, but one of my best friend in life told me when we were talking about my YouTube experience, he said, you need to understand there's the YouTuber Lee and there's the personal Lee, and your YouTube persona is not the same as a personal Lee. So, and when I realized that, I was like, there are things I can do as the YouTuber that I probably wouldn't have done as a human being myself, because I am starting to kind of disassociate myself a little bit from the public persona versus the me. So there's a part of me that's what happened with this lady in the bar, right? She came up and I'm like, I'm a fucking YouTuber. I need to get to the bottom of this story. And I'm like, that wouldn't be me normally, but I'm already starting to like disassociate myself between the YouTuber me has to fucking know this story, and it's not the normal me. So I don't know.
The fake it till you make it. I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he keeps saying how he's so shy.
I am shy, Rhonda.
Whatever.
I mean, you might be, but you overcome it well. Let's put it that way. I'm super shy too, guys. And everybody, because people have heard me say that, they are like, what? People that know me in real life, they're like, you're shy? What the fuck, Kim? And I'm like, I am.
I asked Pete about this before because Pete has been in a band, and I've it's funny because I know you probably won't fucking make this connection, but anyways, I asked Pete one time, hey, when you were in a band and you went on stage, did you get stage fright? Because I have seen actors, and you would think actors can't be shy. You're on fucking camera, you're going out in front of millions of people, but there's people who will say, look, I'm shy in person. That's my persona on camera, or I vomit every time before I go on stage because I'm scared shitless going on stage. So it is true, you can still be in the public eye and go in front of people on camera and perform and still be scared shitless. And you just have to work through that fear and go on stage. So I don't know.
Exactly. Also, there's also a professional trick where you can take beta blockers before you go on stage, and that's that's kind of like a known secret among performers. It slows your heart rate down.
Yeah.
There's less anxiety.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, we
used to have a noise band, a black metal band, and but yeah.
It's all good. It's funny.
Turn it on, turn it off type thing.
Yeah, and like I said, there was at the bar. I certainly moved into I would never talk to a 20-something-year-old female and ask her if I can get her phone number put into my phone. Like I literally was like, hey, here's my phone. Can you put your number in my phone? Fucking never in a million years would I ever think. And even a woman of my same age, I wouldn't do that, much less a girl that's freaking half my age. But I was like, hey, can I get your phone number? And she's like, sure. She like put her number in my phone, and I'm like, that was fucking easy. But it was weird.
Yeah. But did she give? Well, we know she gave you the right number.
I
My son
know.
did that last
I
night
thought
at
the same thing.
54th
Like, was it
Street.
a real number? But yeah, we chatted afterwards. So yeah.
My son did that last night when we were at dinner. And I've talked to him today, but I didn't ask him if it was a good number yet or not. But yeah, my son does. Yeah, just here, put your number in. But again, my son, so very differently.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I was like, I wonder if it's a good number. And he looked at me and he goes, "Oh, it's a good number." And I was like, "Okay, all right, chief."
Yeah.
But
It's all
yeah.
good. Yeah, I don't know when I'm down there. What I'm actually worried about, I'm not worried about it, but I'm actually wondering how uncomfortable it'll be running into people that I've seen related to this case when I'm down there in the courtroom. Like, I imagine Steve Gonzalez, for example, is going to be in the main courtroom. I imagine I'm going to get in the overflow room. But could you imagine being seated in the same fucking courtroom with Steve Gonzalez? And then, even though I'm a small channel, I think these run through my head. What if Steve Gonzalez has seen my fucking channel? And maybe if he doesn't fucking appreciate what I'm saying about his daughter, and then he looks at me and he's like, there's that motherfucker from, like, those things run through my head. Like, how awkward it'll be standing in line for the court session and you're standing with the Gonzalez family next to you. Like, I don't even know how I'm going to deal with that shit other than just like pretend like I don't know who the fuck they are, but I don't know.
You're going to turn on your earbuds and disassociate and act like you don't see them.
Right.
Take some beta blockers.
Yeah. It's weird.
I think there's anybody you'll see, like, as far as YouTubers go, that you would get starstruckly? Like, is there anyone that you might see and you like, who do you think it's going to be?
Well, here, Harsh Reality is the number one guy I'd like to see, and I to be fair, I would give my right testicle to meet half these people. Even some of the, and I won't name the names off the top of your head, but there's some content providers on YouTube that have big followings that are pro-guilters, right? They think Kohberger is guilty, and I would still be honored to meet them because I respect what they do and the amount of time they spend on the trial, and I would love to. I don't know if they would feel the same way about me, considering I'm on the opposite side of the camp, but there's a lot of YouTubers that if I saw them and recognized them, a Jay Embry, a Harsh Reality, a Nika Neuro Nuggets, freaking, if I saw those people there, I'd be like, I would like, oh my God, it's an honor to meet you just because I watch your shit all the time, kind of thing. So it'd be kind of cool, but.
Sorry, I was brushing my teeth.
No, the parasocial thing, yeah.
So yeah, because isn't Harsh Reality? He's the one that's from England, right, or Britain, or Scotland, or something.
Yeah.
That's coming over.
Yeah.
I remember we talked about it on a video or on one of the lives before.
He's my favorite.
That's a lot, man.
He's my favorite, but I feel like I've reached out a couple times to him, like, I think I even wrote one time, dude, I would give my left testicle to be able to freaking have you on the live or whatever. And he's never even acknowledged my existence. I think he's just too big. But yeah, he's my favorite. I dig his vibe a lot. But
yeah,
that's cool.
I've gotten one, I think, React where I got the notification with the star and everything. I was like, oh, okay, wow. But it was just some throwaway comment.
Yeah, and Pavarotti says he's gone. I mean, those guys, Harsh is coming, he said, at least for the first week. Pavarotti's coming. I'd love to meet those guys. I made a little bit of, hopefully Pete's coming. Are you coming, by the way, Pete? I didn't even ask you.
That'd be great.
You coming down? Or
no, I would love to be able to do that, but with my current situation, medically, with being in the chair, and then I'm going to be getting my prosthetic here coming up, and I'll be doing extensive PT to be able to stand upright again. So I wouldn't be ready to do something like that.
But yeah,
it's too big of a trip. Yeah, especially if you're having to stand in line and up and down all day.
Although I could probably get to the beginning of all the lines if I was in my wheelchair.
I'm kind of an organizer. I'm kind of an organizer and planner by nature, and what I want to do, but I'm too small of a channel, is I want to organize some kind of a public announcement that, hey, if you're a YouTuber and you're coming to the trial, let's all get together at a Denny's or whatever the night before the trial and meet each other and shake hands and have a YouTubers convention, if you will. But I'm too small of a channel to be the one to lead that. It needs to be done by somebody like a Harsh or a Pav or whatever. But it'd be cool if we could do that.
Well, I was thinking about, AR lives in Vegas. I was thinking about trying to set one up out in Vegas because anybody would be down with that. I would think, just because it be in Vegas, but it's not gone beyond an idea.
Yeah,
It's a good podcast idea too.
Rye Drake says I should get over my fear and just put it out there and quit getting in my own way. Maybe I will. I've been thinking about floating the idea out there on a video and saying, hey, if you guys are coming down to the Kohberger trial, let's meet in person. But again, I don't think a lot of people know about my channel, but hopefully that can get out there. By the way, I need to go step away for just a moment, but I'll be back. So don't say anything shitty about me. I'll be gone for just a few minutes.
All right.
So Rye Drake just opened my eyes about two different murders that happened before the Idaho 4 thing.
Mhm.
So Hannah Cleary, who may or may not have committed suicide, and Hudson Lindau, who may or may not have drowned.
Right, the waterboard kid.
And Hannah supposedly being a roommate of Maddie's. Do you guys know anything about these?
Yeah. I know a little bit.
Yeah, I did a video on Hannah, and she was lived in the dorms her freshman year, lived with Maddie. And I'm sure if she lived with Maddie, she would have seen Kaylee a lot. So I think she's probably, at least the claim is she was bullied by them. And then, like you mentioned, it's debatable whether it was a suicide or an accident, but the father's gone on record saying, they read through all the reports. They feel confident in what the Moscow police are telling them. But, as we all know, I wouldn't feel like putting the word confident and Moscow police in the same sentence would be appropriate.
Right.
Thank you. I was just thinking that. Yeah.
Prevent people from coming to school there.
Yeah, so there's all sorts of shadiness. And then with Hudson Lindau, we were talking about this earlier, there's rumor that he was waterboarded as part of his hazing and it got out of control and then they dumped him in the water and then, people knew about it. Some people speculate that Loach was involved with that. It sounds like he was an aggressive piece of shit, so I wouldn't put it past them, but we don't know. But
exactly. I've heard that even early on, one of the first early suspects pre-Kohberger was either a uncle or a cousin or a father of Hannah Cleary in revenge, which is a clear motive. We're in a sea of shady motives and no motive with BK, but I feel like that is one of the many better motives that could have contributed to this.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, there was that post or somewhere from a friend of Hannah's that's what it was. It was on the memorial of the Idaho 4, and somebody who was friends with Hannah said something like, "You deserve what you got," and you were so mean to that girl and this and that. So pretty harsh to do that at a memorial type thing, but there's some people hostile over it, like seriously hostile over it. But
that's
what I
early
really
on.
think was cold medicine. She took too much cold or sleep medicine, over the counter stuff. Nothing crazy, but who knows?
Yeah.
But Hudson Lindau, I feel very firmly that was some sort of Greek issue, and they made it go away by making it accidental. Oddly enough, it happened on a Saturday night, and the body wasn't found until noon the next day. So I said in a video, I don't know what it is about noon on Sunday. Like anything before noon, it's just going to have to wait. I mean, we got dead bodies, kids slaughtered in their rooms, but we're not doing a damn thing until noon. I don't understand it, but it's just a very strange group of people out there.
Exactly. I happened to have gone over into the Idaho 4 subreddit today, and there was a post called What do you think the evidence that's going to come out during the trial? And there was a lot of delusional guilters who were saying that they think that it's guaranteed that it's gonna come out that BK searched the crime before the 911 call was reported, and they were thanking Bethany and or Dylan for the 8-hour delay, which may have sealed his fate. So I'm like, that's the kind of people we're dealing with here.
Yeah, you're gonna have.
It would be crazy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would. It would.
But I have been going back to the beginning. I do feel like that is pre-gag order, pre-BK. I know you've done that a lot on your show, Pete, and I feel like that is where the truth really is, like somewhere in there.
And stuff to me, there's something just really creepy about that makes it feel real to me. I don't know what it is.
I do think the most credible motive in the world for me is David Loach being emasculated in front of an entire fraternity for having a small penis due to steroid abuse, and that is all the motive you need in the world for them to go and do that with his little buddy.
Right. Especially all jacked up.
Exactly. That embarrassment, that emasculation is visceral. And I swear to God, if that were me, in this reality, that would be all I would need, like under those like
I think
steroids.
The week before Maddie did it to him, didn't she? I heard the week before Maddie had it out with him.
Yeah, because he had a thing for Zaina. Yeah.
So he just could have just totally snapped. Yeah, I wouldn't put it past him. And David Barakoa was like his sidekick.
Little toady sidekick, yeah.
And he was the one mentioned in the 4chan post that said his father owned a cleaning business, a professional cleaning business. He wasn't an owner. He was on like the board, and he was not on the board at the time that this happened. It was like 2020. He got out of it, but he worked there for a period of time. So, but still, how the hell would a 4chan post before all this stuff came out in the news? How would they know all these things? How would they know Ethan's nickname was E and Loach's nickname was Dirty South and Jake was Rogaine Jack, and all this kind of stuff? It's stuff people wouldn't have only known if they knew the people that did it or they did it
exactly.
themselves.
That's what the detectives should have been looking at. Like those, there are so many more people with worse alibis than BK. He has the best alibi of them all.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. Showalter, driving 5 hours to his parents' hunting cabin. Give me a goddamn break.
To eat turkey, Thanksgiving
After
dinner.
being out all night drinking, he's gonna hop in the car and spend 5 hours. I'd love to see. Did they check any of the street cams on the way to Boise? Did they make sure that he really did drive down there?
Yeah,
probably not.
Now they're like, he's one of our own, if you know what I mean. He's my friend's son, so we're not going to make waves. So I know how that is.
They were donated. His parents donated millions to that school. They weren't going to do anything to him.
And early on, it was verifiable. You could you could Google his parents, and they were who they said they were. They were like doctors, very reputable, and this good old boy network. I currently live in a small town. I'm from here, but I've lived all around. I've lived in Dallas, Fort Worth area, which we talked about earlier. And but now I'm currently living in West Virginia, and it's very similar to Moscow in size, and I'm living in a college town, and very similar, corrupt, good old boys network. It's all who you know. It doesn't, they don't care, and I looked at the distance between Moscow and Boise, and that good old boy network will extend the 294 miles in geography that they are separated. And it only took a matter of time. But I do think that law enforcement and the state, they have gotten their claws into Boise. It just took time.
Yeah.
I do think Hitler is bought and paid for. I think he was installed to do a job. And it's very obvious, in my opinion, in his rulings. It almost seems like he's a defense attorney for the state against the defense at this point, in my opinion.
It's almost like they promised him some sort of sweet deal when he got out of this to retire or to, do some cushy job to ride it out, for the rest of his time. Let him write a book. Make money.
Before he's put out the pasture. Yep. And there's so many people in this case who have retired, just randomly. And then this guy's retiring, this guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, you're relieved. You're absolved. Yeah.
Is anybody else here?
Oh, I'm here. I'm just
I was just looking.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah.
He's over there in the shadows.
I'm here. I'm shopping. I'm here. I'm just shopping, and I have myself on mute.
Okay.
You're just winding the evening down.
That's right.
I do appreciate you guys letting me come on here. A semi-random, a semi-new subscriber to Devils, and a long-time subscriber to Pete. I do have a little YouTube channel, but I haven't done a whole lot. I did like a VR walkthrough of the murder house, which you can look at on my channel. But
did you?
I've had writer's block.
So let's talk about that for a minute. Did you make a 3D model of the house or what?
I did the next best thing. I have a MetaQuest 2. That's what I did it on, but I have a 3 now. But one of the cool things you can do with the MetaQuest is you can pull up a browser, and if the website has like a immersive VR experience, like the 1122 kingroadhouse.com model had for a while, you can basically step into the murder house. And that's essentially what I did.
That's cool.
You've got that on your site?
Yeah. I'll link it here real quick.
Please.
I'm not trying to do like a senseless little whatever.
So the reason I bring it up is because way back in 2012, when I was into shooting in Aurora, Colorado, I tried to recreate the theater using SketchUp, and people enjoyed walking through the crime scene as I saw it, where the bullets went and whatever. Anyways, I wanted to do that with this case, but I couldn't find any place that will even allow you to see a floor plan of 1122 King, because they've scrubbed it and shamed anybody for even talking about the case. So I've been wanting to do a 3D model of the house and be able to talk about things. So, and I know that Gray Hughes did his shit with the 3D model, but I'm of course not going to rip off his stuff. But I'd like to see what you did.
Yeah, fuck Gray Hughes. Sorry, but I didn't mean to say that. I hate to say that out loud. I'm just kidding.
No.
But yeah, here, I'll put it in the chat. It's
a
little
maybe
rough.
We could get you on the Murder Metal Mayhem, do a little video with you and show off your video. That would be cool, man.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. I did put spooky music. I did initially kind of talk over it, but I went into YouTube and I kind of I used the audio to kind of put spooky music over it. But I'm trying to go do more voice and face soon, but I'm just trying to work out my little my angle. But yeah, I posted that in there for you.
Music. I'll tell you right now, if you're doing anything with YouTube and you use any of their music at all, unless you're paying for it, you're gonna get dinged every time. Every podcast I've done for Murder Metal Mayhem, the podcast, not the videos, got flagged for using 30-second clips, which I had always heard was the standard, as long as you do 30 seconds or less. But they hit every one of them.
I want to take a moment to riff on that shit because you just stepped on my last fucking nerve. So and not in a bad way, like I'm not mad at you. But here's the thing. There's a song intro I use on my videos, right? It's a 3-minute song from Josh somebody. Yeah. Great song. I love it. I paid Creator Music platform on YouTube for the rights to the song, $9.99. I thought it was a steal. It's a great song. I paid for it. It comes with unlimited rights to use this song any fucking way that I want to. I put it in front of my lives, and every single time YouTube flags it as a copyright infringement. Twice I appealed it, and twice after 2 weeks, the owner of the license said, yeah, that guy paid for our song. He can use it, and they upheld it. And yet every single time I use it, they flagged me again. So the last time I decided not to actually report it as a dispute, and they said, we've given all your money to that guy for stealing his song. I'm like, I fucking paid for the song, and the guy has twice said I own the license, and they still gave my money to that guy. Fucking pissed me off. Anyway, sorry.
Well, I'm afraid to use audio library. I'm afraid to use my own music because how am I going to prove that I wrote it?
Right.
You know.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, my name's on the album, but I'm sure nobody at YouTube's going to go buy the CD and open it up to see that my name's in there, you know?
What was the old trick back in the day?
I got a guy that knows that I know that's a musician, and I had play some just riffs to a drum machine. It sounds great. Multiple things, and I'm just going to use that stuff because they're not songs. They're just little parts of stuff he wrote for me only to use stuff that's not already out there, because everything I've been using is done, you know, like my new ones, I've been doing those intros. I've been making my own atmospheric sounds and all that because I don't want to get flagged because they didn't get a copyright strike, but I couldn't monetize any of the podcasts, and there's 286 of them. And every damn one of them got flagged.
Well, I'm just pissed that I have to keep fighting the dispute every single time I use a song I paid for. I'm like, if you're not going to let me use the song, then give me my money back for paying for the guy's song, because I've already paid for it and you're not letting me use it. So give me my money back, and I'll stop using his song.
Yeah, right. And they did it to me even with one of the files I used that said that this is not copyrighted. It's free to use, and I used it, and at first it was fine, but then months later I got dinged for it, so I stopped using it.
Yeah,
I used to do like kind of noisy soundscape stuff back in the day on my SoundCloud, but I actually used the YouTube audio library for this particular song that I posted in the chat. But I mean, it's not monetized. I'm not that big to be monetized yet, but.
So Crime Tech, I subscribe to your channel, and I absolutely 100% don't want to rip off your material, but I'd love to talk to you sometime when I'm not drinking about you and I doing some kind of maybe collaboration with some of this video if you're willing to do it. That'd be amazing.
I'd love that because I actually, one of the main things I use my VR for is not gaming. It's actually to go on Google Earth VR to research like old, I'm obsessed with the Brian Shaver case, unsolved case in Columbus, Ohio. A couple others where I will retrace old steps. It's kind of like gray pubes plus, like fly around the Earth. Sometimes I'll record it, sometimes I won't. But it does really get you into like a hyper focused kind of state. Gets my criminology, psychology juices flowing. And while this was up, I don't know if this site is still up, but it let me basically just step into this house. So I recorded it in one take. Yeah. So, it's at my height essentially. And maybe we can go and do it in order, or the alleged PCA order, or what we think the real order of entrance was. It only let me go in the front door first, but it can be edited otherwise or other ways.
Well, I'm watching your video. I really love what you did. It puts a good visual on it. And again, I have no intention of stealing your shit. But if you and I can maybe work something out together, I'd love to work with you on something and come up with something.
I'd love that. I love that. And I have editing software, but this is unedited essentially.
Yeah.
But it's a little raw. But
It's
you know,
great.
I liked having the height, giving the point of view of my height, 6 foot, and just kind of looking around. It is a little weird because you don't have full control. Like with controllers, it's head controlled. So I had to basically look at those those little symbols for like a couple seconds, and then it moved me there, which is not normal VR movement. But
no, it's badass. So yeah, when I'm not having a few drinks, I'll reach out to you and we'll chit chat about this. I want to make sure I get you pinned as a friend to Discord or something so I can.
Thank you.
Get a hold of
you. Yeah. I'll add you. Yeah, definitely. I added Pete. I was hoping he accepted.
Yeah, I'm new to this. I started my account today, so I'm still getting used to it.
Nice. There's actually a really cool thing that you might actually be interested in, Devils, is there's the same company, Niantic Labs, that made Pokemon Go. They also have a new app that is based on 3D scanning of buildings, where you basically scan the building and it creates a 3D model all over the world.
That's awesome.
And I'm going to look up the name of it. But
see, and here's the problem.
3D model.
Here's the problem. I was talking to my wife Rhonda about this, and I originally went into quote unquote business with a partner who did graphics and stuff like that, because I'm a talker and a thinker, and I don't want to have to spend a lot of time with the fucking website and the videos. And I'm like, I needed somebody that could do some of the stuff that, like, I want to build a 3D model of the house, but fucking I don't want to have to learn the software and figure all this shit out and all this with that. So. But anyways, yeah. So it's something that intrigues me, is to find a kind of somebody that can help work with that, and because it's not my passion to learn all that shit.
Yeah, exactly. Pin that in the chat for you.
Perfect.
Up to you. But it would be great to go to some, or at least get people close to places that we want to study, to get a 3D scan of it, so we can essentially walk into it remotely and look around it.
Yeah. Very cool. Very, very cool.
Yeah, that's badass.
I watched a couple seconds of it in the beginning, but it was the music. So I stopped. But yeah, it was really cool. I'm gonna watch it later.
I didn't have
because I wasn't sure. I'm watching it on my phone. If you guys can hear the music coming through on the live.
I didn't hear it.
No, we can't.
You can't? Okay.
No, it's a little raw.
I was watching something else.
Oh, Gray Hughes is live. Let's all go over there and watch him. Just kidding. That was 2 hours
ago. He heard me. He heard me say Gray Hughes. Just kidding. I'm a YouTube Bad Actors subscriber, so.
Oh, they have peaches.
I'm actually banned from Gray Hughes' channel.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I think it was over. I think it was over the 911 call. I was actually calling fake early on, and he was one of the people who had it early on. And basically, he's like, blah 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 blah, and you're banned from my channel. And I was like, I don't really care, because I don't watch your channel.
Funny. I don't really care. Fuck you guys, I'm going home.
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
There you go. I thought it was fuck you guys. It was screw you guys. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Hopefully he's not watching this. He's not going to steal my idea of me flying around the Google Earth VR like Superman and doing what he does in less time in a cooler way.
Just to do.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm gonna wrap up pretty soon. Does anybody have any last minute things we want to chat about before I bail out for the evening?
Hey, if you see Steve, give him the finger for me.
Yeah, Steve Gonzalez.
I don't like that dude.
Here's the thing.
I don't like him.
Here's the thing. I don't know how to feel about Steve Gonzalez. There's a part of me that feels the human element of him losing his daughter.
You feel bad for him for a hot minute, and then he opens his damn mouth.
Right. That's the thing. Yeah. Like, I can even sympathize with him making some mistakes. I can be like, you know what? He probably shouldn't have done that. But fucking, I don't know how I feel about it. Because, like, at the end of the day, I don't know that I hate the guy. I just fucking wish he'd just shut his mouth sometimes. But I don't know.
I think I sympathize a lot more so now with the FBI guy early on, calling him out on mainstream media.
Balance?
That he's giving guilty knowledge, and he's very, his whole vibe is kind of incongruent.
Yeah.
You know, with grieving parent. But that's just me. It's just my opinion.
Does he not realize that he's actually doing a huge disservice to the case by leaking stuff, though? I mean, I've always said that. I'm like, why doesn't that light bulb go off that maybe I should stop running my mouth so I don't put out information that could hinder this case? Yeah. I guess that's what frustrates me about him.
I still want to know. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I still want to know what I paid that bill.
With the little girl. Why is he so obsessed with the little girl that's not his daughter? Why is he always talking about the girl that's not his daughter? To me, that gives major pedophiles. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's weird to me. Like, that he talks about the one. Yeah.
Exactly.
He gives me pedophiles. That's not your daughter. I get it. But, like.
Yeah, he refers to both Maddie and his girls, plural, right? So.
But, and to me, that's odd because my son's best friend, Gio, like, they've been friends since they were 11. I wouldn't be if something, God forbid, happened to both those boys, I wouldn't be on TV screaming and crying more about Gio than I would my own child. And to me, that's just something's weird. Yeah. But I also heard that they might be sisters because Steve Gonzalez is like a hoe, and that they actually could be sisters. I've heard that. Yeah. I don't know how true it is, but I've heard that.
Yeah, so I still want to know exactly. Like, I want to know what I paid that bill means. I want to know he didn't have to go up those stairs means, and I want to look. I want to look more into his hex crypto scam that went bust.
That's it.
I think I paid that bill. That comment. The way I interpret that is he's just simply saying that literally, like, I have every right to talk about this case. It's my fucking daughter. Yeah. And you know, and so that's all I took it about. It's my daughter. I have the right to talk about this case. I'm not going to be silenced because someone told me I need to shut my mouth, because I will fucking talk about it because it's my daughter and I have every right to talk about it. That's kind of how I took that.
Yeah.
But,
I get that.
But yeah, I have questions.
That's how I
have a million questions about he didn't have to go up the stairs. What the fuck did that mean?
Exactly, right? Like, doing the unaliving to E and X was fine, but he didn't have to go up those stairs. Mm-hmm. You know, it was really uncalled for. Then that's the vibe that I got.
He said that?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. He said the fact that he did Xana and Ethan was cool, but he didn't have to go up the stairs?
No,
that was the vibe that I got.
His comment was about his daughter is that the killer didn't need to go up the stairs to kill his daughter, which leaves everybody wondering what the fuck does that mean? Does that mean that he believes Xana was the target or Ethan was the target, and that Kaylee wasn't on the radar and there was no reason for him to go up the stairs? What does it mean exactly that he didn't need to go up the stairs? Because that made it sound like Xana was the target or Ethan was the target. But
that's what I meant.
And Xana's the one whose parents have the drug problems and the drug issues, right?
Yeah, Kara Kanoto was, Mm-hmm.
And Maddie's mom, stepmom.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay.
And dad actually has drug charges, convictions,
and
actually.
And Dylan's dad and Haley's uncle, and there's something about all those people with all that history of those problems in their family. To me, there's some significance of why they were all in that house. It was as if they were there to be kept an eye on, to me.
And this is what kills me about this case. I have never seen a case, I think, where there's so many fucking possible scenarios going on, and yet all we're doing is the only thing that we can accept is that Bryan Kohberger did it. And I'm like, there's a million alternative theories that could account for what happened that night. And I don't think I've ever seen a case with as many alternate suspects as this one has.
I agree.
It's crazy.
And it's a cluster. Like I mean, for everybody to have issues like that, I mean, okay, I've had people say, well, there's nothing to do out in the middle of the country except drugs.
Yeah.
So I kind of see it, because that's what my ex-husband, he's from East Texas. He's like, oh yeah, everybody did drugs out here, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, damn, it wasn't even like that in Dallas. But, because I get it, but every single person has this illicit, twisted ass connection. And I'm like, you've got to be fucking, like, literally, it's almost like you've got to be fucking kidding me. It's unbelievable to an extent. And it's
I used to live in the Tyler area, Tyler, Texas, and I lived in Denton. Now I live in West Virginia, and they're very similar. Not so much Denton, but Tyler and where I live currently, major good old boys network, and it always has been. So.
Yeah, my best friend lives in Tyler. Well, my best friend lives in Tyler now. My ex-husband was born. It's from God, where is it? Lone Oak, which isn't even. I don't even think it's a city. It's a town. It's I think population. You know where it is? Lone Oak. Yeah, on the Lake Tawakoni, on the lake going towards Tyler.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, and he used to tell me, he's like, oh, because I remember hearing stories about all the drugs, and I would look at him and go, how? And his mom was like, what the fuck do you think these kids do? They've got nothing to do. And his mom worked at a community college, and she's like, it's ridiculous out here. It's probably worse than it was for you in the middle of the city, because I was in the urban city, like Dallas proper. So I will
say, like, I live a block away from a college, and there are several gunshots and several known stabbings and shootings that I know about with my own eyes, and they aren't reported because their proximity to the college. And you can transpose that to what's happening in Moscow, and then extrapolate what's going on there. They can't let it get out. Unless multiple people saw it, it doesn't get on the news. But
as that small town, I don't know. I've never lived in a town like that. Closest was I lived in Macon, Georgia, and in college, and I came home because it was too small of a damn city, and they wouldn't let me transfer to the Atlanta campus because that is not me. But it just blows my mind that this kind of shit goes down in these little small towns. I just don't even know.
There are multiple, like, they will level blocks. They will buy through eminent domain or however they will bulldoze a whole block to put another college building here, but they won't report any crimes next to where the campus is. Because they don't want to affect enrollment. They don't want to think it can't be a college. Thing.
Really? That's insane. That's crazy.
Well, guys, I'm gonna bail out before I get too sloppy or some shit. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Thanks for coming in, Pete, tonight. I really appreciate you hanging out with us tonight.
Of course, no, it was fun.
And it was great to meet Crime Tech Explorer. Looking forward to that. And of course, my regulars, you guys, thanks for coming in. And most of you guys have been here. Rye Drake, he's new to the After Dark party. Just Amber, I think, has been in here. Ange has been in here. Most of you are kind of regulars for the After Dark. So thank you all for coming and having a few drinks with me and socializing. And I appreciate you guys' support on the show. So
yeah, thanks for having me.
I'm trying to get a Luigi server right now, and I can't figure out how to do it. Marie just put me in it. So yeah, it was good talking to y'all.
Yeah, we need some more. We need some more Luigi news coming up soon.
Well, I don't think it's going to be that kind of channel. I think it's more of a, he's so pretty, we love him channel. But I'll let you know, Lee. I'll let you know if I get anything good.
All right. Thank you, guys. Everybody, have a great night.
Good night, y'all. Bye.